The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and today we're going to update you on what's happening and going on right here in the borough of the Bronx. And coming up on today's show, we got a very exciting show for you. Starting off, we're going to talk about the Republican Senate that rejects the proposal to replace and repeal Obamacare, as well as Attorney General Jeff Sessions. President Donald Trump voices his disappointment in him, saying questions now loom that the Attorney General may possibly lose his job. Does he have job security? We'll discuss that. Then after that, we're going to hear from a representative of the Women of Color and Solidarity Collective, who will inform us more about the collective, along with some upcoming events. And then we're going over to the YMCA and find out what it has to offer for Bronx residents, especially now in the summer. We sit down with the executive director of the Bronx YMCA right here in our studios. And then following that, the Friends of Book Parks is having the third annual art festival for those in the Bronx. We're going to find out about this event and how Bronxites can get more involved in their community. And lastly, we'll hear about a brand that is set to spread love and impact the community with its apparel. All this and much more is heading your way, so stay tuned because right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, July 26th. And of course, you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Now, we want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find out more about us at Twitter at BronxNet TV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Let's begin the show with some Bronx updates. Well, housing is the topic of the day. New Yorkers facing eviction will now have access to legal representation. The New York City Council has just passed the Right to Counsel bill, which will provide legal representation for low-income tenants facing evictions in housing court within the next 5 years. The bill also establishes a pilot program providing legal services for NYCHA tenants who are in administrative proceedings beginning this fall. The legislation, introduced by Bronx Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson and Councilmember Mark Levine, makes New York the first city to guarantee legal representation to residents. The program is expected to help more than 400,000 tenants by year's end. Well, sticking on the topic of housing, more affordable housing is making its way right to the Bronx. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the $67 million project that will soon be under construction in Melrose. The new department, named La Central, is sent to have 160 units of housing, including 97 units for supportive housing, for formerly homeless New Yorkers with special needs. Now, the project will also include multiple buildings with mixed income housing, retail, recreation spaces, and much more. Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. says La Central is a standard-setting mix of affordable housing and community amenities, also included in the development a new YMCA, and a South Bronx extension for us right here at BronxNet Television. Well, the Bronx will have its very own children's museum in the near future. The Bronx Children's Museum is a $10.3 million project, including a 7,600 square foot exhibition of gallery spaces. It will also have an eco-friendly environment, allowing families to explore. The museum will be located in Mill Pond and is anticipated to be open in the winter of 2018. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio recently rode the train, and he had a few words for Governor Cuomo, who recently declared a state of emergency on New York City subways. Now, the mayor stated that the New York State was responsible for making sure the subway runs, saying, quote, "This is not about the MTA needing more money. This is the MTA needing to use its money in the right way. The New York City MTA has faced many derailments, signal malfunctions, delays, and overcrowding. The governor is calling on the MTA to make these changes. In other news, the Songjiang People's Government delegation from China's Songjiang district of Shanghai, they visited the Bronx to sign a friendship or sister city agreement with Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. Our BronxNet reporter Arlene Makoko was there, and she brings us the story right now.
It's official. The Bronx and China's Songjiang district, located in Shanghai, China, signed a sister city agreement.
Wanted to say that it's with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement that we come and sign this friendship agreement with the good people in the government of Songjiang. And so thank you for being here today.
Today is a milestone for us, cooperation and friendship, right?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Long Wan Lee was with a delegation from the Songjiang People's Government, a district that, despite economic challenges both domestically and abroad, grew their GDP in 2013 to around $15 billion, with $12.7 billion in investment in the Bronx under Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. The day was an opportunity to see it up close. Their first stop, Hard Rock Cafe, Yankee Stadium, for lunch, and next, the Montefiore Ambulatory Center, where they discussed microscopic surgery and overall patient care.
Their questions were good questions. You know, how do you decide who comes here who might need to have a surgery done in the hospital? Those are good questions, and one we've thought very, very deeply about. So I think as they go upstairs and they see and they talk to the clinical people, they'll get even more insights into that.
This was followed by a trip to the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. That's where Executive Director of the Bronx Tourism Council, Olga Tirado, talked about her trip to Shanghai.
And it's a city much like New York, with a different language, but of course it's a bustling, it's a frenetic city, just like New York City.
And that's what she's now looking forward to sharing with others, and she's not alone. Robert Jackson is one of the organizers of the tour.
We're hoping, one, to be able to have businesses established in the Bronx so that people of the Bronx can be employed.
The New York in China Center, headed by founder and President John Wang, also organized the trip, a trip the Madam Deputy Mayor Wan Lee called productive.
Very fruitful the visit here, and it's only one day, not so long, but we learn a lot of things from this visit.
The Bronx is an area that probably China are not familiar with, and it has great potential in terms of development and has a very rich resources.
After the Botanical Garden, the group headed to the Havana Cafe on Castle Hill Avenue for some Latin cuisine. As they wrap up their trip, organizers are now looking forward to seeing the borough president put together his own delegation for a tour of Songjiang District sometime next year. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Thank you, Arlene. Coming up, we'll take a quick break and be back with the latest in politics.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Every Monday night at 9, we talk to the borough's movers and shakers about the latest in Bronx politics, education, healthcare, arts and culture, and literally any and everything that's important to the people of the Bronx. There's a reason why Bronxites have been turning to Bronx Talk for more than 20 years, because Bronx Talk is about you and me, the people of the Bronx. So we'll see you Monday night at 9.
Well, yesterday the Senate decided to reject the Republican proposal to repeal and replace Obamacare. Meanwhile, during a news conference, President Trump let the public know that he was, quote, disappointed in Attorney General Jeff Sessions. These comments come after the Attorney General recused himself from the federal investigation in the 26 interference with Russia. The president's Twitter even went as far as to comment on the Attorney General, but has yet to say whether or not he will fire him. Joining us now to discuss this and more, we welcome now our political commentator, Lee Bynes, to the set. And first of all, let's talk about the repeal and the replace the Senate vote yesterday, and the fact that it went and you had to have the vice president cast the tie-breaking vote, but then yet and still when it comes to repeal and replace, not enough votes yet to be able to do this. What does this mean for the Republican Party?
Well, I think we can go back to what we talked about last week, as a matter of fact, that because the president is in such dire straits with regards to his approval ratings, with regards to his ability to communicate with people where they will believe him anymore, that the Senate, as well as the rest of the Congress, has reached a point where, you know, we really don't have to follow his lead anymore, because we have to pay more attention to our constituents, and I believe that's where this is going. We talked about this last week regarding whether or not he would be able to put enough pressure on them to back his play. He put a lot of pressure on them. In fact, he went back to a Democratic line to hit them with, to say that, look, you've been going with this thing for 7 years, talking about we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, and now that we have an opportunity, or they have an opportunity to do it, the Republicans are falling short. And as we discussed previously, and have to go on more and more with this, is the fact that, yeah, they did discuss repealing Obamacare and replacing it until they found out what it was going to be replaced with. And once that was out of the bag, nobody wanted to defend that thing, and that's why the president had forced them to take the vote. They took the vote, and then they came up right behind that and said, look, we got to have something.
Well, let me go here. I mean, we also did see the president be very vocal about supporting this, and also calling out senators who did not support this and saying, we need you to vote in favor of this. We've never really seen this from a president before.
No, but here's the deal. The president placed the Senate in an untenable position simply because of the fact that it was impossible to replace Obamacare with something better, with something cheaper, and would cover more people. If you dissect that information, that is universal health care. It's no way in hell that you're going to be able to provide universal health care or anything close to it in a free market system. I'm going to use this little bottle right here. I happen to have glaucoma in this particular eye. I need this medication in order to continue to see out of it. Because we live in a free market system, the cost of this tiny bottle is not even filled up. We're not even talking about an ounce. Retail values out for about $300. Do I have to pay that? No. I have a small copayment, but that $300 is being charged to the insurance company, and because the process works this way, where the free market allows a business, a company, a pharmaceutical to charge whatever they want, and supposedly competition will balance it out in the long run. But that rarely ever happens, and that's the only reason why something like this small, which I'm only going to get like a few drops out of it per month, costs $300 to the insurance company. Now, if you spread that out across the industry, you understand why this has turned into a $1 trillion business. And until Congress comes to the point where they realize that we have to cap costs, and in order to cap costs, you're going to have to attack the free market system in order to bring down the cost of health care in this country. There is no other way to do it, and I'll stand by that.
Well, this bill still is going to get a whole lot of debate. We know it's still getting debate. Also, there's going to be amendments that are going to be filed coming up with that. People saying this could be a very long process, given the fact that if these amendments continue to come forward, and you also have on the part of some senators who say we still haven't really seen the bill in its full totality. What are we to make of this?
And the reason why you haven't seen it, there was only 13 Republicans who actually crafted this bill. The other 37 Republicans never had a say in what was going to come out of Mitch McConnell's process. And once they saw it, it's like, it's just no way that we can deal with this. So President Trump, again, placed them in a situation where they cannot win. You cannot win. You will not get anything better than you already got right now unless somebody comes up with a better plan. Now, I'm taking a look at the Democrats. They came out this week. Of course, their message got muddled because of the Sessions deal and everything like that. But they came out with a better deal plan where they were going to offer some alternatives for where the Republicans or the GOP is going right now. The thing is, I took a look at it. I looked at the leadership. I looked at the plan. And the only thing that was in there was a few bullet points that they stole from Bernie Sanders' campaign when he was running during the summer. So, and by the way, there was no mention in there with regards to how they would deal with fixing the Affordable Care Act.
I'm going to come back to this, and we'll probably have to finish up on this next week, but I want to go to our other story talking about the president and his vocalism towards, or his being vocal about Jeff Sessions, Attorney General, saying the fact that, you know, it was bad that he recused himself, but looking at it right now, talking about he would have hired Jeff Sessions if he knew that he was going to recuse himself. Where are we going here?
Firstly, the timeline is off. When Jeff Sessions took the job, he had no idea that he would be recusing himself. He hadn't even been questioned by Congress yet. So when he went up there in Congress and he screwed up and he forgot to acknowledge the fact that he did have a few conversations with the Russians, he had no alternative but to do so. Most of those on the Hill right now are going to go along with Jeff Sessions simply because of the fact that too many people are aware of the fact that the only way that Trump will have any chance of scuttling this investigation is to get rid of Sessions, get somebody in there who has the power to fire Robert Mueller, because Robert Mueller is coming after him from a multitude of angles now. Whenever these special counsels are set up, they have broad authority to look anywhere they possibly can to find wrongdoing. Nobody in New York City is going to make billions of dollars without bending a few rules and breaking a few laws. It just does not happen that way. And so now that he's under tough scrutiny, his son has been caught up in it, his son-in-law has been caught up in it right now, he's in panic mode. There's no other way to put it. So he's got to do these things to shut this investigation down. It will not go over well with the public. It will not go over well in Congress, but he's up against the wall right now, and pretty much everybody knows it. So he brings this guy in, Scaramucci, right? And Scaramucci is supposedly going to turn the tide and fix things. But
replacing Sean Spicer, who used
replacing
to be the White
Sean
House
Spicer, and
spokesperson.
then there's a little bit of scuttlebutt going on that's saying that he may be moving into Reese Priebus's spot. But I mean, I'm looking at this guy carefully, and to me, he looks like a Vegas lounge act, to be honest with you. I don't see much more than that. He's the kind of guy that would upsell grieving families in a funeral parlor. I'm not saying this to be glib or anything like that, but this individual has about as
pretty harsh there.
Is about as trustworthy as Donald Trump himself. He's looking for a slick, clean, somebody could come in there and talk a big game and throw you off balance. But the bottom line is that he cannot change the messenger. And as long as he has to work under the auspices of Donald Trump, he's going to have the same problems everybody else did. And as you mentioned earlier in your remarks on whether or not Jeff Sessions' job at this point, does he have job security? When you're working for Donald Trump, nobody has job security. He could fire you in a minute, and he seems to enjoy it.
Lee Bonds gets the final word. All right, Lee, thanks much.
Good to be here.
All right, I got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more shows. Stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
And welcome back to Open. Our next guest is the co-founder of an initiative seeking to uplift women of color. Joining us now to give us some insight about the collective and upcoming events, we welcome now Women of Color in Solidarity co-founder Cheyenne Wizard-Jones. And good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So when you talk about Women of Color, let us know a little bit about it.
Sure. So Women of Color in Solidarity started about 4 years ago in Worcester, Massachusetts. We just had our first conference in April here in New York. And so we're a collective that works with a variety of different organizations throughout the country, thinking about what does solidarity mean between women of color and really discussing that in our events, in our workshops, in our conference.
And so you've had a couple of great things happen so far, and I know you got some upcoming conferences coming up, and you've got one that's actually focused on trans women.
Yes, so on August 5th, we are collaborating with Intersections International, which is in Chelsea, Manhattan. And we're really centering the voices of trans women of color, specifically now where we see trans women of color being killed and murdered based on their gender identity. And so we want to center their voices in thinking about what does it mean for the intersections of violence, accessibility, but also the standards of femininity and why trans women of color are being killed.
And when I was, doing some research on this, I'm finding out that trans women of color are highest rated people murdered in communities, and then also amongst the highest populations living in poverty. Are we finding out any reasons as to why? Do we know?
I mean, I'm not a full expert to say why, but we know based on studies, based on the Human Rights Watch, and other collectives like the Audre Lorde Project, that a lot of it in regards to murder and so forth and poverty is that there's no accessibility because people are viewing them as other. They're not being able to get jobs, people are not being able to get housing, and so we have a high murder rate, we have a high inaccessibility of housing, it's intersecting, so that the two don't separate.
So basically discrimination plays a big part in leading to why you believe these numbers are the way they are.
Correct.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit because you got this conference coming up, conference on August the 5th, and you have something else happening on the 6th as well.
And we do have something happening on the 6th. We're collaborating with New Woman Space, which is a new space actually in Brooklyn, New York. I suggest everyone check it out. And we're, again, centering women of color voices, but thinking about how does the arts and activism play a role in the transformation of brown and black bodies, and how do we come together to really discuss that.
Now, you're the founder of this organization here, and talk to me about what was it that really got you saying, I want to do something here?
Well, it was started in Worcester, Massachusetts when I was attending Clark University, which is a predominantly white institution. And so me, as well as my other co-founder, Flor C. Romero, kind of thought there's no space for women of color to come together. There's like the Asian American Society, there's like the Black Student Union, there's like all these separations, but there was never a collective for us to come together to really think about how are our oppressions, I guess you can say, intersecting, and how do we hold each other up in community. So that's how we kind of started the collective.
Awesome. And so talk about transformation of body and healing. I want to let you share a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, as you see, my shirt says listen, decolonize, and heal, which is actually a collective called Nalgona, which is based in California. And so for us, it's really thinking about how do we decolonize, but also how do we educate ourselves in what internalized colonization has done to us. And so, yeah, I think we don't know, but that's what our events and our workshops are for, to really bring us together in that way.
So for people who want to take part in these upcoming events, what do they do?
You can hit us up. We have Instagram, Women of Color Solidarity. You can also email us, walksolidarity@gmail.com. And there's a variety of different ways to get in contact with us and to help out.
All right. Well, Cheyenne, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good to have you. Co-founder of Women of Color and Solidarity, Cheyenne Wizard-Jones. Thank you for being with us. All right, stay tuned. Listen, we have more show coming up. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah.
Boys, check it. Yeah.
Ooh, cute. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up? How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir.
See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
For years, the Bronx YMCA has provided residents with a place to grow, learn, and participate in numerous activities. Here now to tell us about the YMCA programs, along with their contributions to the community, we welcome now the YMCA Executive Director, Ms. Charlene Brown, and good to have you here.
It's nice to be here, and thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to have you in the Bronx YMCA, who's been around for a long time.
Right. Well, the YMCA in general of Greater New York has been around for 160 years, but we have been in the Bronx borough since 1888. Our present location over on 2 Castle Hill Avenue has been there since 1977.
So taking the reins and doing what you're doing, you're lifting up programs and obviously meeting the needs of the community. So talk to us a little bit about some of the needs in the community and how you guys are doing that.
Okay, so the Bronx Y has a mission of empowering the youth, healthy living, and strengthening the community. Empowering the youth here at the Y, you know, presently we have a large camp where we serve over 400 youth. Empowering the youth to bring them out to their full potential, learning how to thrive so they can succeed. Healthy living so that they can make the right choices as they go older and become adults. And we support their academics. So even though they're in camp, it's all about fun, they still get a chance to get some literacy work done so they will be prepared when they get back into school. Through our healthy living, we support a lot of the chronic disease that's hitting the community right now in the Bronx, mainly type 2 diabetes. We do have a program that's called the Y Diabetes Prevention Program. In this program, we teach adults as well as children, families as a large, how to eat right, how to make healthy choices, why it's important to exercise so they do not get the disease.
We'll stop right there because we talk about dealing with that issue and having families come together. Sometimes that's a hard sell to get the families to come in and really talk and deal with that. What kind of success have you been having with that?
Okay, families are big. I find the Bronx community to be very family oriented. You know, we're very diverse diverse community where we have a lot of different people here from different nationalities. But family is how they come into the Y. They come into the Y to do things together. We are the only Y in Greater New York with an outdoor pool. So one of the main things, they come in the summertime, they spend weekends, you know, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, they're outside, they're swimming, they're engaging as a family. We have grills that cook out. And then also we have programs, family cooking program, Friday nights, where families are taught, you know, how to prepare those healthy meals and make those right choices. Sunday, we have a program called Family Ties, where families come together, they take trips, they do activities, physical activities. And these programs are supported by our policymakers right here in the Bronx. We get discretionary funds, and through these fundings, we're able to keep these programs on. So family for us, the main struggle, I was saying even a challenge, is making sure we have the things that they need. You know, the Y is always based around the needs of the community.
Well, you talk about the Y meeting the needs of the community. Everybody knows about the Y and recreation, because recreation is always, you go to the Y, recreation growing up, that's what we did. But you also have that other component of social responsibility, which you really try to tap into and make the public aware and talk about your social responsibility engagement.
Okay, so our social responsibility is strengthening the community. How do we strengthen the community in the Bronx? Why? Well, one thing we do is we work with our teens. You know, teens are the future. So we have programs for teens, whether it's youth in government, Teens Take the City, Global Teens, Leaders Clubs. These teens are taught how to represent themselves, how to have self-confidence, how to communicate, how to become better young adults, preparing them for success. Another big program we do, which is important to the community, is welcoming our new immigrants. We have a center called New Americans Immigrants, and in this center, we're teaching them English as a second language, how to get their citizenship, computer skills, job readiness. So these things are important to us because it helps make the community better. We all know that when we have happy people and strong, healthy people, the community is stronger. So that's our social responsibility, to strengthen the community. We work very closely with partners in the community, whether it's on health issues or as education. These things are all important, and we're there for the community in that area.
Well, talk to me as people who are watching right now saying, listen, you know, I might be in the area, want to take advantage. Now I'm finding out that the Y's got a lot of stuff. What do they do if they're a community resident? What are the requirements to become a part of the Y?
Okay, well, one of the beauties about the Y, we turn no one away for inability to pay. We are a nonprofit organization, and that's our main focus. We're located over on 2 Castle Hill Avenue. They can come in and visit us anytime, sign up for membership or the various programs and services we offer. Or they can go online and also register and become a member at www.ymcanyc.Bronx.
Are we seeing any particular trends? Are you seeing any trends coming through your doors these days?
I would say most people that come through the doors today, they're looking to see how they can better themselves, empower themselves. And we meet people where they're at. They come in there because they want to do something better for themselves, improve in some area. We help them reach their goals, whether those goals are on an educational level by supporting, whether it's on a healthy living area by helping them reach their health goals, or if they just want to get involved. The Y is a great place to be involved. We always have volunteers there to help your community at large.
Everybody loves the YMCA, and Charlene Brown's our guest. She's the executive director of the YMCA. For somebody that doesn't know, give them the location and the contacts.
As I said earlier, 2 Castle Hill Avenue, located over in the Castle Hill section, and also we can be reached online, www.ymcanyc.org.
Thank you so much, Charlene Brown. Sharing us. We're glad to have you sharing a little bit about the Bronx YMCA. Well, guess what? Got to take a quick break. We'll come back with more show. We want you to stay with us. Coming right back right after this.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race.
Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better? I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on the sidewalk?
Yes. Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious. Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Friends of Brook Park, an environmental organization from the South Bronx, is having their third annual art festival. Now, if you don't know about the organization, it's actually committed to helping build up their community. Joining us now and telling us more about the event, we welcome the Friends of Brook Park Program Director, Mr. Ramon Figueroa Jr., and good to have you here.
Well, thank you for having us. Really appreciate the
Welcome
opportunity.
To the set.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about the Friends of Brook Park.
Well, Friends of Brook Park, as you just mentioned, is an environmental, community-based environmental program where it was founded to establish greater open space equity for a community that is tremendously underserved by access to open green space. It has since evolved to really serve as a hub for community engagement, and there we have a youth farm, there we have canoeing, environmental eco tours, bike tours, environmental justice tours. We do all types of know your rights events, family events, cultural events, and we run a very exciting program that I'm really proud of. It's an alternatives to incarceration workforce development program right through our youth farm. And really very, very excited. Yes.
Hey, we were talking about, before we start, some young people. Matter of fact, we have a studio audience here that you may get to see before it's all over with. You got some exciting young people. And
yes, we do.
And you said that you were very impressed by their work.
Yes, yes. What I feel very honored by and very privileged about is these young people have definitely embraced the vision of being socially responsible, and in the process of engaging in addressing community issues, feeling a sense of agency, feeling a sense of being a part of a community where once they may have been disconnected as a result of not being valued for their resource, them being viewed as a resource. That is to say, being a young person.
And as young people, obviously, they're involved in a lot of stuff now.
Yes.
I know that you guys also do some things with canoeing and kayaking.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's as much recreational, where we're celebrating the beautiful environment of the Bronx, which the Bronx River in particular has been restored over the decades. But just getting around to all of the waterways, it's as much recreational as it is in an environmental educational and environmental justice initiative where we're exposing the community, young people people and residents of the community to access to the waterfront. That is something that's very accessible down in Battery Park City, not so here in the Bronx, and we're working to do our part in this very, very creative way of advocacy.
And when you talk about, I'm not to cut you, when you talk about canoeing and kayaking, young people being involved, we normally hear basketball, football, baseball, but talk to us about the involvement.
Right, yeah, so the young people, they actually come from a variety of backgrounds. And this is being in the Bronx, demographically, culturally speaking, but when they come, they're being exposed to, as it were, a career horizon in the environmental field, the green field, environmental health, environmental science, environmental education, sustainable planning. We've had young people come through our program that are now in college pursuing careers in planning, pursuing careers in environmental sustainability. Very, very proud of that work and opening up those types of opportunities for young people in the new evolving economy, which is evolving little bit by little bit towards a green economy. And we're looking to be a leader in that right here in the South Bronx.
So once again, let's talk about this very special event.
Yes, absolutely. We're so super excited by this third annual art festival. We have been, as a community garden, cannot lay claim to the name community if we're not being responsive and honoring the aspirations and addressing the needs of our community. This is one of those. This is the third annual art festival that's going on, and it's celebrating the artists of the Bronx. There are going to be a variety of graphic artists, visual artists, performing artists, spoken word. There's going to be an opportunity for open mic. There are going to be artists that are performing actually live in terms of painting, and there's going to be opportunities for young people to engage in face painting, as well as crafts. There are going to be folks that are featuring food crafts as well as other types of arts and crafts at the event. So it's a full day of activity. There will be food. Feed them and they will come. And so we're very, very excited about that. The date is this Saturday, July the 29th. The rain date is actually the following Saturday.
We're hoping for good weather.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we don't want rain dates.
Exactly.
We want to do it right
For folks that are interested, we have a number if they're, want extra information about the event or want to be engaged in the event in some creative fashion. The number is 347-845-1330, 347-845-1330, and that's Mr. Castillo. Yes.
And then you can get in touch there. So the Brook Park Art Festival is the third annual one, and so when you talk about young people, where are you getting your young people from?
Oh my goodness, they come from the schools in the Bronx. They come via other community-based organizations that we collaborate with. They also come through the criminal justice system. We have a very exciting program known as Youth RAP that we're collaborating with the New York City Department of Probation. It is, RAP stands for Workforce Restoration Assistance Program. And these young people are literally learning the very real-world job skills, resumeable at that, of urban agriculture, the fine art and science of urban agriculture. And in the process, developing a resume that they can take with them going forward. We've actually, those young people that are really super engaged and really embrace this area of work, we invite them to be a part of a youth-based business where we're part of a Bronx-wide collective of pepper growers. And those young people that are engaged in that are growing peppers for a company known as Bronx Hot Sauce. Bronx Hot Sauce, in turn, is being sold at outlets such as the Green Markets throughout the city, Whole Foods Market, and other markets. So it's an opportunity for them not only to engage productively, but earn extra money in the process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, we want to tell people, make sure that you get in touch now
with
Ramon. And the third annual Friends of Brook Park event is going to be taking place. The festival is taking place on the 29th. We want you to come on out between 12 and 8. There you see the information. Big thing underneath, it says free. So make sure you come on out and be a part of that. And if I got somebody watching right now and say, listen, I have a young person and they've got some talent, but I just want to get them tapped in.
Absolutely. Please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to just give my number. You can either call, leave a message, or text. It's 646-337-1087. My email is ray at friendsofbrookpark.org. And we welcome all inquiries and we'll want to work and be of service to our community.
Now, I can't let you slide off the set without talking about the T-shirt for a minute.
Oh, my
'cause
goodness.
That guy right there.
Yes.
Ramon Jimenez, right here on our set.
Well,
He used to go front and center with JC.
I consider Ramon Jimenez a role model. I had the extreme privilege and honor of being under his tutelage as a community organizer with the South Bronx Community Congress, of which he is a co-founder. I still speak of him in the present tense.
Yeah.
But he is a Harvard-educated lawyer who, instead of going to Wall Street, instead of going corporate, decided to come back to his community and develop roots where he was advocating on behalf of workers' rights, on behalf of indigent individuals. And really, he is one of the forces, the forces behind the restoration of Ostos Community College when it was threatened to be shut down. He was a primary mover and shaker in terms of making sure that Ostos is all that it is today.
Ramon Jimenez.
Yes, God bless him.
You know him
Yes.
very well. Rest his
Yes,
soul.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
All right. Ray, good to
Thank
have
you
you.
so
Ray
much.
Figueroa
Yes,
Jr.
a real pleasure.
Good.
Yes.
Listen, take a quick break. We got more show. Stay with us. Coming right back right after this.
One thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Well, have you ever heard of Inner Beauty? Well, the Inner Beauty brand is dedicated to spreading the love of God through its clothing while also inspiring the community for a better tomorrow. And we've got in the studio telling us a little bit more about the clothing line and their upcoming fashion show. We welcome now Inner Beauty CEO and founder, Juaville Wright, and good to have you.
Correct. Thank you.
Hey, good to have you. So tell us a little bit about Inner Beauty. I mean, we've heard about it, but you tell us in your own words, what's Inner Beauty?
Well, Inner Beauty is an inspirational driven line. We just started off with our t-shirts, so we just expressing our artwork through t-shirts, but it's a combination of our lifestyle. So the average individual on a regular day basis, you know, just with love, prosperity, peace, humility, nationality, you know what I'm saying? We just want to take the world and combine it, you know, through love and through honoring God. It's a faith-driven line, of course, you know, through Christ. And we just look to really grab an audience to make it a better world, possibly through inspirational artwork. So it's easy for you to put anything on a t-shirt and say, you know, well, that's a name or that's a catchy tagline, but how about we just take artwork and just express it in a form of way where people have never seen before. And that's what Inner Beauty is. Right here I got Black China on my shirt. Okay. And Black China is it's Chinese Mangu. So the letters are Chinese Mangu, and the Chinese will see it as beauty within. Inner beauty, of course. But what's interesting is that, you know, you take something like that, a name like that, and then, you know, you bring it abroad, and Black China is just so, it can catch anybody's eyes. So, you know, we want to catch the Chinese, the Asian, of course, the Asian, the Caucasian, the African American, the Indian, whoever. So it's very diverse.
And so when you talk about displays and putting your fashion out there and t-shirts and stuff like that, you talked about a little bit about the background. Is give me a little bit about what people can see and what people can expect.
Well, they can definitely see we have brilliant minds. That's a t-shirt we're just expressing education. So especially for our youth, when they see it, they feel comfortable enough to go, well, you know, I don't mind being educated. Or, you know, it grabs their attention to go, you know, nothing's wrong with education. Another thing is beauty has no nationality. So what's being described in this picture is that you have 4 different nationalities, and each and every one of them are wearing different attires, like their attire is switched around. So the Asian will be wearing what the Indian wears, or the black woman will be wearing what the Asian wears. The Caucasian will be wearing what the African American woman wears. So just to get that and implement that is to say, you know, well, maybe, you know, our nationalities and our ethnical backgrounds does make us different, yes, but who's to say that our ethnical backgrounds or nationalities should keep us apart or make us separated? And so you've got a fashion show that's coming up this weekend. This Saturday, yeah. Excited? Excited, very excited. Is it going to be in Mount Vernon? It's going to be in Mount Vernon, 250 6th Avenue. Dole Center. A lot of our community leaders will be there. I know my community will be there. The Bronx, the Bronx, Seymour Avenue, New Testament Temple, Church of God, and a lot of the community leaders in Mount Vernon, just the same as in the Bronx. So it's gonna be good, you know.
And what do you want people to take away when they see your artwork, when they see your fashion? What do you want people to take away?
I want them to take away love. You know, I think that's our key goal, is just to have people see it, feel it, and feel so inspired that, yo, like, this is love. You understand? So if you can take love and have it on a t-shirt, you can walk away with a lifestyle more than just a brand. So we're not just trying to sell you a brand, we're trying to sell you a lifestyle. It helps us think, it helps our characteristics. Because beauty, especially with beauty, when we talk about inner beauty, it's common, but then again, it can be so broad, because how do you express inner beauty? You understand what I'm saying? So we want people to take that into consideration and say, well, inner beauty is something that I need to learn to express more. And that's a form of love. It starts with love, because love is the foundation.
So July 29th, I should say, yeah, July 29th, you come on out and check out the fashion show. If not, you can always hit the website, and the website is located?
InnerBeautyInc.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, InnerBeautyInc_, and the same as Facebook, Inner Beauty Inc.
And so for people who've watched your work and seen you, what are the comments that you get when people wear your product and see your stuff?
For the few samples we've put out thus far, it's just been very positive feedback. It's been very positive feedback in the sense that it's nothing that it's common. You know, we don't want something common for the eye. We want something that's, you know, different, uplifting, and I feel like people get that sense of it. You know, they want to buy more, they want to see more. Sometimes we keep them waiting a little bit, because, you know, this Saturday is going to be the actual launch. We'll be actually launching the designs and the new apparel that they haven't even seen yet. But they definitely, I feel like they're very inspired, and to see that they're inspired by it, it just motivates us to keep on going.
Well, we want to thank you for coming by and sharing a little bit with us and giving us a little bit about, you know, your community, and like you said, you really want to inspire not just individuals, but your goal is really to inspire communities. I'll let you take away with that before we go.
Right. The community. It starts with our community. A lot of our models, a lot of our young children who are modeling the line, they come from within the community. But just from the community to the city, to the state, and to making it global and worldwide. We already have a few models in Jamaica who's already modeled the line as well. So we're trying to go very international with it, but we got to start somewhere, and it starts first in our community.
Well, you're off to a good start.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you for coming and sharing with us. And
Appreciate it, brother.
of course, we want you to do well and come on out. If the people want to see it one more time, I'll let you know exactly where to go. It's the Inner Beauty Fashion Show, and that's going to be July 29th at the Dole Center. If you don't know where the Dole Center is in Mount Vernon, it's 246 Ave in Mount Vernon, and you can come on out and catch all the Inner Beauty line. And if not, go to innerbeautyinc.com and get all the information. And Drew Avil Wright, the CEO and founder of Inner Beauty, our guest. All right, well, listen, we've come to the end of our show today, and we want to thank our guests for joining us. And most of all now, I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Recablecast at 5 and also at 10 p.m. on Optimum's Channel 67. Also, Verizon Files Channel 33, or watch us anytime on the web, of course, bronxnet.org. Darren Jaime saying take care, God bless, and most of all, keep this channel wide open. Take care.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Cheru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the